Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Savannah, and in today's video I have a super informative kind of video because I have had so many requests to talk about my self-tan routine. So I am clearly self-tan right now. I love just self-tanning. I just feel so much more confident. I've had so many people request a self-tan routine, and I have really wanted to do this video for a while just because I feel like self-tan is such a tricky thing to kind of like nail down and figure out which ones you like. There's just so many different aspects of self-tan and learning the right way to do it and the wrong way to do it. Obviously you can do it however you want, but it's just a tough thing to like kind of nail down and like figure out which ones that you like best and what kind of techniques you prefer. So I thought that I would discuss all that today. I'm going to be discussing like several different tans that I've used, ones that I currently use, and kind of like alternate depending on the occasion that I'm tanning for. I do this probably like once a week just to like stay pretty tan. I just feel so much more confident whenever I'm tan. That doesn't mean that you have to self-tan to feel beautiful. I just personally feel really confident myself whenever I'm tan, so that's why I do it. I'm going to be going through all the steps of like my typical self-tan routine from the night before and things that I do like leading up to me self-tanning, if that makes any sense. So if you're interested in any of that, please be sure to keep on watching, and also if you have not yet, please be sure to like this video and also subscribe to my channel. It helps me out so much. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. But typically whenever I tan, the first thing that I like to do is the night before. I typically like to self-tan at night and then sleep on it and then rinse it off in the morning. So what I do that night that I'm going to self-tan, I will make sure that I shower, shave, and exfoliate. Those are the three most important things. You want to make sure that you exfoliate any old tan or even just like old skin, like dead skin cells there are on your skin. You just want to make sure that you are not putting anything like on like unclean skin. You just want to make sure that you have a really clean surface, because if you have any old self-tan, it could make the new self-tan that you put on look really patchy. So it's just really important to make sure that your skin is nice and exfoliated. I like to either use the Tree Hut little sugar scrubs like that, or I've also used the Dove. It's like the body polish, I believe. I will like put both on the screen right here so that way you guys can see what they look like. I like to use either one of those, as well as exfoliating, just making sure that you're cleansing your skin really well. I like to use just the Dove liquid body wash. That is personally my favorite, and I just like to make sure that everywhere is nice and clean. And then afterwards I will just make sure that I shave my legs, just because if you have any hair, sometimes it can just like, it just won't look as right. Say that you self-tan the night and you have like some hair on your legs, and then you shave the night after with the tan, sometimes it can take off some of the tan. So I just feel like it works best for me whenever my legs are shaved and I have just exfoliated. So that's personally what works best for me. Obviously make sure that your skin is nice and dry afterwards, and then once you go to tan, the most important part is that you want to make sure that you moisturize only these areas. You want to make sure that you moisturize your hands, your ankles, your elbows, and your feet. Those are like the most important areas, because those areas kind of grab onto self-tan really, and they develop a lot faster, so it can make your tan look way darker than it normally should be, and that tan can accelerate faster on those areas. So you want to make sure that you put them, especially on your hands, all over your hands, your knuckles, in between your fingers, your elbows, your knees, and your feet. Those are all important areas that you want to make sure that you have moisturized, because like I said, they can kind of grab onto that skin and just kind of latch on, and it just will not look very good. So it kind of acts almost as like a buffer, that way that you can kind of blend the area a little bit easier. My hands, they're always a struggle, but they look pretty good this time. I don't feel like they look super crazy, and I feel like the lotion really does help. So if you can do that beforehand, I really recommend it. This right here is my designated self-tan bag. It has all sorts of the tans that I use and also the mitts. This is the mitt that I use. I buy like 3 or 4 whenever I purchase them, just so that way I don't have to buy a new one every single time I go to tan. It just makes it nice and easy. I do like use the mitt several times. I don't like use it once and throw it away. But these are my favorite mitts. These are the Saint-Tropez tanning mitts. I do get these at Ulta, and these are just my personal favorite. Also, Ulta makes their own tanning mitts, and they're pretty much similar as well. So these right here are the tans that I use, and there's also one more additional one that I don't have with me that I will be discussing as well. So the first one that I have that is probably one of my favorites, that is also the most expensive, is the Saint-Tropez Ashley Graham self-tan. I really like that self-tan. I've only used it once or twice now, just because because it came out new fairly recent. My second one to that, as far as like a nicer, like more expensive kind of tan, is Loving Tan. I have the Deluxe Bronzing Mousse and as well the 2 Hour Express. So it just kind of depends on what you're wanting. For both of these, I do tend to leave them on overnight, but if you are in a pinch and you need tan, like if you need to be tan within 2 hours, you put this on, leave it on for 2 hours to develop, you can wash it off, and then boom, you're self tan. That's really nice and convenient because not everybody can just like wait around and like have it develop overnight. As far as like a week to week basis, I only really use these whenever it is like a nicer occasion, just because the self tan is pretty expensive. It's a great quality and everything like that, but again, it's just pricey to be using it every single week. My favorite go-to tan that I've been using every single week is the St. Moritz Tanning Mousse in the shade Medium. I do get this at Ulta. Pretty much all of these you can purchase from Ulta, and then I haven't used this one a really long time and the label is kind of rubbed off, but this is the Bondi Sands self-tanning foam in the shade Dark. This one I do use in the shade Medium. I haven't used the shade Dark just because I don't want it to be too tan and like look insane. I do probably want to try the Dark at some point, but I really like the Medium. I feel like this looks really nice. It does fade pretty well, but the most important thing that you want to remember is that with this, you want to make sure that every single night you are moisturizing your skin, because that will help the longevity of your tan. It will make it last longer, and it will also help it fade more gradually rather than like in splashes. If you moisturize every single night, I feel like that helps so much, and it just makes your skin look really soft and it just makes your tan look really good, and that's personally what I like to recommend. So this is like my go-to if as far as like an everyday kind of tan. And I'm going to mention one more thing. So this is an e.l.f. like foundation brush. It's like a makeup brush, and I bought this a long time ago, and I thought, why not try this on my face? So what I will do is that I will typically like put self tan like with the mitt all over my face, and then I will take a little bit extra on the brush and kind of apply it on areas that I would normally apply bronzer, and so that way whenever you don't have any makeup on, it kind of looks like you have some dimension to your skin. And I really like to do this. I don't like put a ton on there. I just like to put the tiniest amount, kind of blend it in with the brush, and then just kind of like apply it on like my forehead, my cheeks, and my chin, just kind of like areas that you would typically bronze your face. And I really like this trick. I've seen a lot of people do this on TikTok, and I personally just think it looks really nice, so I thought that I would throw that tip in there as well. As far as like actually tanning, I like to start on my chest for some reason. I don't know why, and typically on my chest I will put 2 layers of self tan on, just because I noticed that my neck and my chest seem to fade really fast, and I absolutely hate like whenever that like fades first. But on my chest, I will typically start there, and then I will put 2 layers of tan there, just because it tends to fade pretty fast on my chest, and it drives me insane. So I like to make sure that I apply 2 layers on my chest, and then I will start on my arms, and I just kind of use like swiping motions. You don't want to be like super hard, you just kind of want to apply the product, and then I always do my hands last, just because that kind of like has the least amount of product. You don't want to like go straight in like with a pump and like do your hands, because they will be way too dark. Same thing with your feet and your ankles. You just don't want to like straight on apply it. You just kind of want to use whatever's left on the mitt to do your hands, and that's just kind of like the best technique that I've used personally. And you just kind of want to repeat that same process all over, and then once you are done, you want to make sure that it is dried for at least a minute before you put any clothes on. I like to sleep in some like baggy shirts and like a baggy t-shirt, just to make sure that you're not like putting anything too tight on, because it can mess up your tan. Then I like to sleep in mine, and the first thing that I do in the morning is I just take a shower. And the most important thing is you want to make sure that you just strictly rinse it off. You don't want to like get like your Dove body wash and like scrub it off, because that can again disturb the tan and will kind of like scrub it off. So you don't want to do that. You just want to like let water rinse over you. You can take your hand and just kind of like rub it over, just to make sure that it's helping. And then once you get out, make sure that you moisturize. It is so important, and then you are pretty much good to go. And my tan lasts, I'd say like probably 7 days. I'd say like 5 to 7 days, depending like how often I moisturize. I try to do it as frequently as possible. So that is pretty much my tanning routine all summed up. I really hope that is helpful, and I will make sure to link all the products that I mentioned in the description box down below, so that way it's nice and helpful for you guys. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to like this video and also subscribe to my channel down below. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.